Welcome back. Government sources have countered China's claims and asserted that Indian troops did not fire shots at PLA soldiers at the LAC. Now, the Chinese PLA earlier this morning issued a statement blaming India for opening fire on Chinese soldiers. Today's development comes 2 days after the defense ministers of India and China met in Moscow and 2 days ahead of the scheduled meeting between the foreign ministers. Remember, India has outflanked China by taking control of strategic heights near Pangong Lakes, southern bank, and has also thwarted attempts by the PLA to enter our boundaries. Well, we have my colleagues joining us on the broadcast. We have Maha Siddiqui, we also have Shreya Dhondial, who tracks defense. We also have, Group Captain Vinod joining us as well. But coming to you first, Maha, the charges leveled by China have been completely refuted, at least according to sources so far, by the Indian side.
Yes, government sources are saying that no shots were fired. At least that is what they are sticking to at this point. We will have to wait for an official statement to come out for clarity on what exactly happened. And then why is it that China is leveling these really serious allegations against India? Because remember, Vandana, within 2 kilometers of the LAC, one is not allowed to fire shots. Even though the patrolling parties do carry firearms on themselves, they do not fire. And this is what has been able to maintain peace and tranquility on the border with China. There are 5 agreements and protocols that indicate that the manner in which the two armies should be behaving on the line of actual control in the border areas. And this is one of the most important factors that has helped maintain peace and tranquility, is what both sides have always maintained. So for shots to be fired, it's a very, very serious allegation that was made against India. And that is why we are seeing government sources telling us that no, this is not the truth. No shots were fired. Meanwhile, Vandana, let me point out that after the 15th June Galwan clashes, yes, it's true that the Indian side had decided that the rules of engagement cannot remain the same. If there is provocation from the other side, then India reserves the right to respond in kind. So that is why I'm stressing, let's wait for the official statement, though government sources have clearly told us that no shots were fired.
All right, stay on with us, Mal. Going across to Shreya as well. Shreya, according to the Global Times, Chinese troops apparently were forced to take countermeasures as well. Do we have any details about these countermeasures or anything, any information about any movement whatsoever happening at the LAC?
What the statement is trying to say is that the Indians did open shots and we were forced to respond in kind, which means they resorted to firing shots as well. So here's the thing, and I think this is the clarification that we will need from the Indian Army. As we speak, that clarification, the statement is being drafted. The question we need to ask is, were warning shots fired? Warning shots are very different from fire being exchanged, if you know what I mean, Vandana. So we'll just have to wait and watch for the Indian Army's statement. For the moment, what we are being told is that around 6:15 p.m., in a place called the Mukhpari Peak, which has already been occupied by the Indians. This is where the Chinese tried to transgress, exactly like they had tried to do, if you remember, on August 31st, I beg your pardon, in broad daylight. That is exactly what they tried to do. They tried to dislodge the Indian Army from there. That is when troops who were occupying the Mukhpari Peak warned them, told them to stay off, etc., after which the Chinese retreated. Again, as I say, what we need to find out right now is if the Indian side fired any warning shots. So far, my sources within the army are telling me, and Maha's sources within the government are telling her that no shots were fired. So we'll just wait for clarification to come in, because so far the only official word we have heard is from the Chinese. The first thing that the Indian army has told us is wait for the statement. The Chinese are giving you an incorrect picture of what happened last evening. As we speak, brigade commander level talks are on to try and keep the peace on the ground. This is an ongoing process. It has been an ongoing process since the 29th. But it's important to note that this is coming exactly 2 days after Rajnath Singh met General V, and both sides had, agreed to act responsibly and to ensure that there is no further provocation. So while China is accusing India of grave provocation, India is accusing China of grave provocation. As I say, we just have to wait for an official word to come out before we know exactly what happened. You really can't take the Chinese statement and go with it.
Absolutely. The Chinese cannot be taken at face value, but we will have some more clarity, like you're telling us, Shreya, after the official statement is released by the Indian side. Stay on with us. We also have Group Captain Vinod with us. Group Captain Vinod, it looks like China is keen to project India as the aggressor.
Very correctly said, and I'll go, a couple of points I'll add what Mahad, pointed out.
Okay.
For peace and tranquility to prevail in a certain protocol, you leave the weapons behind when you contact with the Chinese troops, and that is the border management posture. But to up the ante, we don't have to, both sides don't have to take permission from each other. That is a beauty. See, 20 soldiers died and they were unarmed. So we would have gone on to a second or a third level of border management posture. So that means we would have been with weapons. Second and the most important point, I mean, I've been in that area a lot. I would go with what the Indian version is. A trigger-happy, less trained soldier could, Chinese soldier could misconstrue even a thunderclap as firing happening from our side, and they would have taken it a step further, saying that we fired at them because they are a little worried. A third and the most important point, which normally people are not talking about, is the Western Theatre Commander of PLA is probably trying to make his mark with the Beijing, and that is what we are seeing since June. The Western Theatre Commander is probably want to, pose himself as some military genius. So, which is why, the whole thing is spiraling out of control, and it is high time the diplomacy from both the sides take charge of the situation and probably change the Western Theatre Commander of PLA and bring people very clearly. If air power is applied, China is not going to have a face to save because they are completely at a disadvantageous position there. So that is the most important point, and hope they realize that someone sitting in Beijing is realizing this, and it brings it a couple of notches down. That is an important point that we need to look at. Why this Western Theatre Commander is doing such a foolish act, if I may put it that way.
All right. Stay on with us, Group Captain Vinod. But going back to Shreya, who is still with us. Shreya, you just mentioned that this has happened just 2 days after Rajnath met General Wei. And remember, that meeting was pushed by the Chinese. They had made about 3 requests to have those talks.
You're absolutely right. This was the third request that was made. And because India was going to be speaking from a position of strength, given that we have occupied strategic heights in the South Bank and some strategic heights in the North Bank as well, India felt this was possibly the right time to talk. Look, the situation on the ground is very tense. It is on knife's edge, as it were. And neither side want war, which is why Rajnath Singh agreed to speak to the Chinese. This was the third request that was made. In fact, not just that. Not just did the request come from the Chinese side, it's also pertinent to remember that the Chinese delegation had walked all the way up to Rajnath Singh's hotel, where Rajnath Singh and the Indian delegation was staying, and that is where the meeting was held. So by the looks of it, the attempt, one would have thought by the Chinese, was to try and dial down the situation at the LAC. But then, China has a reputation of talking Wuhan and walking Doklam, as they say, because this is exactly what had happened. There was much talk of the Wuhan spirit by the Chinese, etc., and then the Doklam crisis had happened. So there's one clarity in the mind of the Indian defense establishment, and let the Chinese talk. Let all these talks continue. In the next 2 days, we know that S. Jaishankar is going to be meeting with his Chinese counterpart as well, and that meeting will go on. Let all these talks go on, but the fact is that you simply cannot trust the Chinese. The other thing that has happened since the 29th is this. It's very clear that the rules of engagement have changed. India is not waiting to react. India is proactive. It has occupied strategic heights. It is something that has put the Chinese at a disadvantage, and I think that is what is rattling the Chinese, because you've seen not just on the 29th and the 30th, but then again on the 31st, and then again yesterday night, there have been attempts by the Chinese to transgress and especially transgress in areas where the Indians have already occupied strategic heights. Why would you want to do that, given the fact that once, in mountain warfare, you're sitting on the top, you're sitting on a ridge line or a strategic height or a pass, you are at an advantage. He who occupies the heights and mountains is the one who's controlling the battle. Yet the Chinese are crossing over, yet the Chinese are behaving proactive, they are trying to provoke India, possibly looking for trouble. Again, as I said, we'll just wait for the Indian Army statement to come out. It is currently being drafted, is what I'm being told. But we are being told that there was no exchange of gunfire. What I'm waiting to find out is if warning shots were fired. Warning shots are usually fired in the air to ask your enemy to stay away. Did that happen? Did that not happen? We'll just wait to find out. But there was definitely no exchange of fire, is what our sources are telling us.
Right, but even if the warning shots were fired, Shreya, one wonders what led to the provocation, because that resulted in us firing these warning shots.
Again, as I said, this is unconfirmed. I'll just wait for an official confirmation to come in, because there's no point speculating as to what happened on the ground. At this point of time, there are various government sources who are speaking, and everyone is speaking in a different voice. So we'll just wait for an official confirmation to come in. But if a warning shot was fired, if warning shots were fired, what that means is that there was provocation from the other side. Otherwise, the Indian troops are sensible troops. They will not fire warning shots just because they feel like it, or just because they feel like celebrating something. So, Vandana, what I'm picking up is this: at around 6:15 p.m. last evening, in the South Banks near Zangla, there's a Mukhpari mountain. This is where the Indians have already occupied the heights. What we were told is that the Chinese tried to come in. They tried to come in close to this area, almost attempting to try and dislodge Indian troops. This is when there's a war of words definitely that broke out, and the Indians asked the Chinese to go back. This is usually how it happens. Again, under these circumstances, were warning shots fired to ask the Chinese to go back? Maybe, maybe not. We do not know. But what we definitely know is that there was no exchange of fire. That it's not like the Indian troops fired at the Chinese and the Chinese fired back at the Indians, as the Chinese are making it out to be. Look, China lies. We know that now. They have put out a statement. Yes, they have, in a sense, an advantage when it comes to information warfare, because they put out their statement last night at around 12 o'clock. The Indian Army should have responded to that by now, or at least should have put out their version by now, so that all this speculation that is going on right now wouldn't have happened. But anyhow, as I said, in the next 15 to 20 minutes, we should have a statement, and there should be greater clarity on what happened. We need to trust what our army says, not what the Chinese say.
Absolutely. Stay on with us, Shreya. Going back to Group Captain Vinod. Group Captain Vinod, it looks like now, at least according to the information that we have so far, that Pangong Tso is officially a battleground.
Yeah, and it is a wrong battleground they chose. But a couple of quick points. One is Dr. Jaishankar's meeting is going to open. There has to be an opening statement saying that you guys fired at us. So I would go with what Shreya is saying, that this lie, the blatant lie, could be an agenda point that the Chinese are setting for the foreign ministers' meeting. So I would not give too much of cognizance to what the Global Times is saying, because the way and the manner in which Global Times has come out with this lame argument or lame statement saying that we fired at them is most likely an agenda point for the meeting and nothing else. I am more than certain Army is going to come and say we didn't even fire a single shot. And that is the version I will go with. But what is most important for us to understand is this is the price that we are paying today is for the meek responses that we gave in the yesteryears. And that is for our viewers to understand that this is the first time probably we are taking a strong stand saying and no nibbling anymore, and this is it and no further. So that is something we as citizens must stand by our government and not make irresponsible statements that I have seen since yesterday in a couple of veterans who are making it, which is condemnable to say the least. But third and the most important aspect that we need to understand is this may not, if at all push comes to shove, this may not be the place where he will engage you full on. He might engage you full on in area where he is strong. And Pangong Tso is not the battleground where he is strong. He knows that full well. If I were, looking at the
Right.
war, I would probably look at Wolong.
All right, thank you for joining us, Group Captain Vinod. China is undoubtedly trying their best to provoke India. Let's take you through China's strategy and what it looks like so far. In fact, remember, this is China's attempt to, to battle India with a mix of ground aggression and propaganda. There have been repeated attempts by Chinese troops to engage with India aggressively over the last couple of days. And now, with this statement coming in from China, it does look like they're trying to use the propaganda method as well. Now, China claims shots were fired at the LAC. That was done a couple of hours ago. India has squashed those claims. Government sources have indicated that no shots were fired. The army sources have indicated the same as well, but we're expecting an official statement by the Indian Army in a few minutes from now. We'll get more clarity after that. It looks like this is China's bid to paint India as the aggressor ahead of talks between the foreign ministers. Remember, S. Jaishankar is expected to meet his counterpart Wang Yi in Moscow, and it looks like China is on the back foot and wants to make it look like India is the one that is indulging in provocations. Now, China is also spooked by India's positions on strategic heights at Trishul. India, remember, has been very proactive in the last couple of days. We've occupied strategic heights along the southern banks of Pangong Tso, taken a couple of areas on the northern banks as well. We've thwarted attempts by the Chinese at aggression. India is being, more proactive, more vigilant, and that is not going down